meeting with me today to talk about the world of events. It would be amazing if you could just introduce yourself and sort of tell us a little bit about the events that you organise.
Sure. So hi, my name is Ellie and I am the events executive at Moneyfacts Group. Moneyfacts are a financial information company and our data is used throughout the UK financial industry. We provide product data across both print and online formats, such as our 3 monthly magazine publications, which are against personal finance, business finance, and investment and pension finance, and such as our comparison site moneyfacts.co.uk. And in connection to these, we run our 4 annual awards ceremonies, where we award product excellence and outstanding customer service, and that's very much where I come in. So sorry. So in my role, I primarily look after our guest and sponsor needs throughout the process and the journey to the event and beyond the event. And I also work with all of our suppliers in delivering the event themselves. So a lot of my role also incorporates marketing and communications too.
Amazing. You sound very busy.
It's a busy time.
So before COVID, what would a normal event sort of look like for you guys?
So a normal event, well, they're very different to what they look like now, but a normal event would be taking place in London. So as I said, we have our 4 annual awards ceremonies a year. Our biggest one being our Business Finance Awards, which runs at Evolution in London, which is a huge space, and we usually have about 800 guests that attend that event. And it's a great night. We have all of our financial brokers, providers, lenders attend, and we have a lovely drinks reception, dinner, the awards ceremony, and then an after party afterwards. So it's always a really good celebration. Very different to what they look like now.
I mean, I've watched some of your post-event videos from in the past, and they look like everyone has such a great time. So when we can eventually go back to the physical events, I'm sure everyone will be sort of wanting to attend, you know, events across the country more than ever, won't they? So
yes, that's the plan.
So within your team, how have you adapted those physical events to sort of since COVID to make sure, I know you've sort of worked on virtual, but if you could tell me a little bit about how you have adapted your physical events, please.
Yeah, so we very much wanted to keep our events accessible and as fun as possible. We very much acknowledged the fact that we were going to be bringing events into people's homes. So however way we looked at it, it was everyone was going to be in the same position. They were going to be tuning in from home with different things going on. So we wanted them to take place throughout the day. And also we have quite a large amount of categories in our awards as well. So for example, in one of our particular award ceremonies, we have 45 categories. So we wanted people to be able to kind of tune in to an event when it kind of would work throughout the day. So we kind of created the concept of having a virtual event, which we would run through our social media channels. So we run it on our Twitter account and also on our LinkedIn account as well. And before the event, we kind of publicise a schedule where people will be able to plan their day around the categories that are relevant to them, so that they can dip in and out of the awards at a suitable time for them. But also we wanted to keep it as fun as possible, so we tried to introduce some kind of fun elements that people can get involved with from home as well, such as wearing their best lockdown arrival look and sharing pictures on social media and kind of sharing how they would celebrate, whether it be at home or in their office as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the factors that have come into play with having to put on these virtual events is keeping everyone involved engaged, and it sounds like you guys have been thinking sort of on your feet to ensure that there are different ways to get those people engaged sort of throughout that physical, the sort of virtual period of time that this event takes place over. So how has the feedback been from your attendees so far then?
Really good, really positive. I mean, we adapted it because we wanted people to get involved and we wanted people to be able to enjoy the celebration. So we've had really positive feedback. It has been really, really great. We've had lots of brands and providers that we work with have been sharing the event on their social media channels. They've been, like I said, they've been sharing how they've been celebrating and getting involved, which has been amazing for us to see, and for me it kind of gives me that little buzz that I'd usually get at an actual event when you can see people physically enjoying themselves. It's kind of, it brought that element into it as well. It was just a really nice positive thing to see, something that, you know, we would lack. So that was,
I totally get that, and because obviously we put on awards as well, I think it's a case of still being able to celebrate and recognise those businesses. And I think they have needed this recognition more than ever, haven't they, over this last year, because it's been such a difficult one. So it is amazing that you've still been able to sort of move forward and put the awards on.
Exactly, yeah, it's so important to celebrate their achievements, and it's been, especially in the financial industry, it's been an incredibly overwhelming year from whatever way you look at it. So it's been so important for us to be able to continue to celebrate the success and the service as well that they offer their clients.
Definitely. So finally, just going forward, looking at sort of what you've put in place over this last year, what are your plans moving ahead for sort of the physical events? Is there anything that you've taken on board from the last year that you think you've sort of put in place for the live events?
Yeah, I would say that we have really adapted, and we've actually, in a way, been able to take the time to reevaluate certain elements. So not even from the physical event, but like our marketing plans. We've been able to completely relook at them and kind of retailer them to how we want them to look going forwards. So that's been a really positive thing as well, being able to step away and look at it from a different perspective, like how can we bring social media into a live event going forwards. So that's definitely been at the forefront of our minds for sure.
I think the thing is, with over the last year or so, even though we have been sort of so busy throughout, it has also perhaps given us a chance to take a step back and look at how we do things and how we can adapt to improve sort of going forward. So I think it's sort of been quite good for all of us, really.
Definitely. I mean, we're still planning, so our next live event would be in September this year, and at the moment, with the information that's available out there at the moment, we're still very much planning to go ahead with that event. So hopefully, all being well, we'll be able to get back to events, because I personally really miss it. The team, we really miss it. It's just been really strange, so we really hope that we can get back to them soon.
No, I totally agree. Our first events will hopefully take place in September too, and I think, like you say, all of us, we're absolutely raring to go, aren't we? Across the events industry, I think everyone will just be so pleased when we can sort of start up doing our thing again.
Yeah, definitely. But we are very much going to be working on a returning to events plan. But obviously the amount of information that's out there at the moment in terms of events is quite a lot of information, and it's also information that's changing all the time. So it's kind of about figuring out what it means for us, figuring out what it means for the event, and then putting together a plan of how we're going to go back to them. So that's very much ongoing at the moment. But I do think a lot of it is going to come down to reassuring our guests and our clients as well. I think a lot of that is going to have to be something that we really focus on in terms of getting back to the real live event world, is definitely reassuring our guests of the measures that we've put in place.
Absolutely, and making sure that they feel comfortable. I mean, we can all move ahead and start planning for our events, but like you say, you know, there are various bits of information out there, and who knows what could sort of change. So we'll have to keep on top of that over the coming months, and yeah, just keep our, like you say, keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Been an interesting year for sure, hasn't it?
It definitely has. It really, really has. Hopefully we won't have to sort of experience such a long period of time without physical events again, because as we've definitely all missed it, haven't we?
We have indeed. It's been a whole entire year now, literally almost to the day, since we went into our first lockdown. And before we went into our first lockdown last year, it was 3 days before, and the official lockdown date was announced. It was 3 days before we had one of our award ceremonies. So it's just been a crazy time, constant learning curves all the time.
Well, one thing we can say is that over this last year, we have, everyone within the events industry will have learned a lot, wouldn't we? And perhaps got that experience at doing things virtually that we might not have thought about before. So I think it's really opened us up to new things, hasn't it?
Exactly. And I think as an events person and as events people, we kind of are programmed to problem solve and create solutions around different things. But this has obviously been one of those situations that completely flipped it on its head. So being able to repurpose them and do them in a completely different way has been amazing. And I mean, we're really proud of the engagement that we've had on our virtual events. I know, well, for example, we had almost 1 million potential impressions on our virtual events that we've done, which has been amazing, and we couldn't have really prompted that at all, and we're so glad that happened. It's just been really, really good to see that people still want to get involved and celebrate, even if it's virtual.
Yeah, and that's so amazing that you've been reaching so many sort of different people through this time. And I've found you're looking on LinkedIn and Twitter, and everyone is so supportive of each other as well. And I think that is helping give businesses and staff and everyone that little lift that they've needed, hasn't it? So
absolutely. And also we've very much wanted to acknowledge the situation for what it is throughout so when we did one of our first events virtually last year, we kind of thought as a team, right, we need to have a bit of fun with this. We need to kind of go out there and do what we would like everybody else to get involved with. So we actually ended up doing a TikTok video, which was something that we'd never thought of doing, but it was just something very fun that we could do as a team, that we could put out there to hopefully get people involved. And it went down really well. As funny as it was.
I remember watching it. It was a good one.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was good. It was good fun. It's kind of something that we would have never normally been able to do, that we then decided to do. It's just one of those examples of being able to do things a little bit out of the box.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Anyway, thank you so much for having a bit of a chat with me today. And as we've said many a times, fingers crossed for the events this year, and we can't wait for them to get physical again instead of virtual.
Me too. Thank you so much. It's been really good to chat. I mean, I think things like this are so important as well, because I've been trying to get involved with little industry conversations that are happening, because I think kind of listening to other people's perspective on what events are going to look like is always really helpful. And I mean, I'm constantly learning from what other people are talking about and how information's interpreted. So I think things like this are super important.
Absolutely. We all need to sort of help and learn from each other, don't we? So hopefully it's been useful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
you.